This episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast is brought to you by GamerClips.tv. Play, share and watch video game frags and clips with hundreds more added every day. Hit the link in the comments section to check them out.
Okay.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast with me, Chris.
And me, Jake.
And me, Ben.
Me, the Mance.
Now this week we're gonna start off by talking about the feminism explosion that's happening all over the internet at the moment.
Femsplosion.
Femsplosions. Do you want to kick us off on this one, Jake?
I mean, yeah, there was. It's basically over the last kind of week or two. There's been a couple of stories in the news. Notably, Zoe Quinn, who is the developer of a game called Depression Quest, which is an indie title. Yeah,
that is very deep.
It got really well reviewed, and recently on his blog, an ex-boyfriend of hers has basically posted a lot of rather nasty comments suggesting that Zoe slept her way to get good reviews, which is kind of completely unfounded, but has not stopped the majority of the internet being rather hard to her and trolling, and it's just gone very much out of hand, and sort of a number of kind of notable gaming journalism figures have been forced to sort of step in on Twitter and defend things, and it's just kind of gone a bit horrible and very public.
It's got a ludicrous amount of good reviews, and it's a really well put together game, and
I mean, the whole thing just kind of comes across as sort of bad grapes, essentially, on the behalf of.
It reeks of jealous ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, doesn't it? And
it doesn't sound anything like
of jealous boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sound anything like she has slept at the top. Nobody's come out and said, "Yes, I can back these claims up because I'm a totally different person."
Nah, he wasn't
CEO of Sony, but no,
he wasn't explicit about it. To be fair to the comments that he may or may have not made, but he heavily implied it, and the rest of the internet basically
jumped on it.
And now there's a very significant portion of Reddit that sort of are convinced that this is how Zoe Quinn's gained all the success, and it's a complete fallacy, and it's come out of nothing. And I think it is just from one jealous ex-boyfriend's blog post, and I think it's kind of awful that that sort of the success of a very talented indie developer is being undermined this way by some jerk, and that it's being fueled by everything that's going on the net.
The internet's a dangerous place. Things rapidly explode, and unfortunately, certain people become the victim of that.
They do, and it's kind of unfair. And I guess the other story that's kind of in a similar vein, in terms of people on the gaming community and the internet community being particularly horrible to a notable female, a noted female within the gaming industry, is the new Anita Sarkeesian video came out 6 days ago, and Anita Sarkeesian had to leave her house a few days ago because of death threats made against her as a result of it, and has had to go stay with a friend.
I was standing outside with a pitchfork. What?
Oh damn! Whoa!
What?
No,
but for real, the internet is serious business.
It's just a sort of
just for idiots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute muppets.
Good comment.
It just is.
It is, and I think she keeps the YouTube comments. Well, I don't know if she personally, but the channel that she makes the videos for keep the YouTube comments on the video censored, as in like the no comments are allowed on the video. So people discuss it on other forums, but they don't discuss it on YouTube because YouTube is an unmoderated, ninth circle of hell when it comes to comments.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can completely get behind
Bob
that.
will take over with his tank and just annihilate all the comments.
Oh,
Big Bob with
just
his doom.
You can't have a decent conversation.
No.
You have a conversation. Hey, Bob. Ugh, get away.
I think YouTube is definitely not the place for significant,
for valid conversation.
And, significant and valid responses. People should surely be seeking like an official channel out if they want to reply, because most people are just like haters, man. Yeah, hate for the sake of hating.
Apart from the guys that comment on our videos.
Well, obviously, they are.
Yes.
They're bros.
All three of you, you know where you are. And thanks.
Hey, no, got to give it up to the replayability guys.
Godspeed.
Those guys are awesome.
Yes. I think at least one of them's a robot, but that's okay. I will definitely buy a timeshare. Thank you. But yeah, so like Anita Sarkeesian's videos are, the channel's called Feminist Frequency, but they are a kick-started series of videos that are exploring the roles of women in video games, or kind of more how they are misrepresented in video games. And I think it pushes buttons with certain portions of the gaming culture, I guess, which to date is primarily adolescent males.
Well, actually, there was a study recently that showed in the US the majority of gamers are over 18-year-old females.
Nice.
You can tell that by the amount of streamers that you get. Like, every time you see a female streamer, you go on the stream, they're either like Eastern European towards like Swedish, Dutch, whatever you want to call them, and then America. Like, there's quite a massive chunk of American female streamers. I don't know why that is. I pass.
I don't know why you're watching them all late at night, Mansell.
Wow. What do you think?
Yeah,
Dawson's really good at the game
late
as well.
at night in his dark pit of a room. Keep calm and watch ladies stream. That's what it says in the background.
Moving past. Delightful image.
But yeah, it was a study done recently, and they've got the majority share in. I think it's just
so
in the
what
US.
contributes to that? Like, because
that was what I was going to sort of approach next, because does that constitute gaming as as playing an MMO or Call of Duty, or is it playing Tribes and Candy Crush Saga?
Yeah,
I
guess.
What are you classing as a gamer in that study?
Yeah.
But someone that plays Warcraft 24/7 or plays Solitaire on the phone.
I suppose if they've sort of blanketed gamers as to mean if you play Candy Crush or one of these other super massive free mobile games, then I can understand that's probably why that sort of figure comes out.
Yeah, but I think it's quite telling that that kind of figures come out. So there are like there's a very significant number of women that play video games now. I mean, whatever form.
Yeah, whatever form. Yeah.
But the majority of the AAA market is still kind of targeted at young males and that's kind of a lot of what Sarkeesian's videos are about, is that the women in the kind of AAA industry particularly are pretty badly represented. Like her most recent...
Is that a new thing, would you say?
Not really.
Well,
like, and again...
let me sort of... let's go back a bit to sort of old again. If you take a look at Tomb Raider, yes, it's a very sexualized character. But she started off as a rough and ready adventurer, and now she's become this sort of almost damsel in distress type person in the later incarnations of the game. So has it sort of phased over time? Has she gone from being a sort of heroine to becoming a needy female?
Yeah, I think that was like the most recent video is about sort of women as kind of set dressing in male-dominated worlds, basically. So she uses examples like sort of Red Dead Redemption, where kind of most of the women in that game are basically sort of prostitutes or people who are just there to be injured.
Yeah.
And things like that, or to just kind of make you feel more heroic.
I've spent a lot of time on Borderlands 2 recently, and that game has got more cleavage than something with a lot of cleavage. Insert witty.
Sweet.
But yeah, but there's going back. There's characters like Samus Aran, who are strong sort of lead female characters. It seems like it's a more modern thing
I think Samus is quite an ambiguous character to use as an example, though, because of the sort of mechanized armor. I think the idea is to give you the impression it could be anyone and not necessarily a sex, which I think kind of goes against the point of what Sarkeesian was trying to say, rather than, I mean, obviously, yes, Samus is the lead female character and is action driven, and you can say that she isn't being represented in any particular way, rather than Sarkeesian saying that women are, set dressers effectively.
Right. She's not. I mean, I think people kind of take the videos as absolutes, whereas they're actually kind of just there to sort of have some debate. Like, so I think she's not denying, and she gives some positive examples of how women are represented in games, and this one's kind of more about the a lot of the women in games tend to be the victims who have to be saved by males.
Yeah.
And she says there aren't many games where you get to explore the role of what it means to actually be a victim. There aren't many games where the victims are men. There aren't many games where the men are sexualized in the same way that women are. But she's not kind of like talking in absolutes and saying like this. There are no good examples in the game industry. Far from it. And I think the Samus Aran one's an interesting one because if anything, it's kind of gone a bit backwards in more recent generations. Like in the SNES title.
Yeah.
You completed that game completely unaware that Samus was a lady, and you got to the end and found out she was, and then you realise it doesn't matter, and that's feminism.
Exactly. That was ages ago, and now, as those games sort of developed, it became more sort of sexualized and
exactly.
So
now you have to see her out of the mech armor being a vulnerable woman, for some reason, because for character development in the sort of more recent versions, which is probably not as close to it. Like, kind of, I think Sarkeesian's pushing for equality more than like superiority. Like she's,
but still,
I mean, I don't want to speak for her,
in sort of contradiction to my own point, you've got Princess Peach and Zelda, who are the sort of quintessential damsels in distress.
Yeah.
They're like the sort of epitome of the girl that needs saving.
Yeah.
And that just hasn't changed over the last 25 years.
Yeah. The point she makes, or the point she kind of says about the damsels in distress, are that they're not sort of characters, particularly in their own right. Like they are the ball in a game between two men.
Yeah.
So, like Princess Peach is the ball in a competition between Mario and Bowser. In some ways, like she's a prize. She's the thing they play the game
She's
around.
the trophy.
Yeah, and she says, well, she doesn't say it's not cool. She kind of just presents how they're represented and leaves people to make up their own minds. And they're pretty good videos.
Yeah, they're really good videos. Yeah, definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen them already.
I think the issue is it's always going to be a bit of a grey area. Like I can understand where she's coming from in that she's highlighting that particular ways that women are represented. But I mean, look how long the sort of movie medium's been going, and you go and see a dude bro action movie, and women still play the exact same role in those films. I mean, the only difference is more characterization and more dramatic acting, more screen time perhaps, and that's just perhaps the way the medium's developed. I think to look at games now, maybe some have taken a step backwards. I mean, let's go back to the Metroid example. You play Super Metroid 3 on the SNES, unaware that Samus Aran is a woman until the end of the game. Like you say, it didn't matter. Maybe in the more recent titles, they've made the fact that she's a woman matter to try and encourage women to play more games in some kind of reverse psychological method, which has just made them come off a bit like assholes, because it does just give the damsel in distress thing more credence.
Well, it's kind of having your cake and eating it, isn't it? Really, with the AAA market these days. So they get to present sexualized women in video games as the lead characters. You get to appeal to the old teenage boy demographic you used to, but you also, as a girl, can get to play as a lady. But what kind of a role model is that? Like, why does Samus have to be a bit vulnerable and weepy every now and again? Like, you never see Nathan Drake or Shepard act like that.
This is true.
I think it's
the difficulty is always going to lie really in the storytelling, I suppose. I mean, assuming that the games we're talking about revolve around a set story, and it's not like an RPG or something, where options then change because the game is designed more to cater for a wider variety of people who are customizing their characters, etc., etc. I mean, I was gonna almost suggest that every game should be made where you could like either be a male or female and then the story suits, but then that's just like segregation, so it's completely stupid.
Well, I mean, like, Dragon Age, for example, or Mass Effect, like, you could play as a guy or a girl in those games, and it didn't matter. Like, as in, it didn't really affect the story, it didn't affect who you could have a relationship with, it didn't affect how people reacted to you particularly. It didn't matter. And that's proper gender neutrality.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but the only difficult thing there is that's made by the same developer, BioWare. That's obviously within their development DNA. They've got to try and get that point across to everybody else, and it's hard. I think it is. It is the nature of storytelling which has to go through some kind of a revolution for this issue to ever really be put to bed, nail in the coffin, and then everybody can sort of get along with the way games are made.
Would you not say though it's perhaps a product of the sort of demographic of gamers over, like, historically?
Yeah.
So historically, your gamers have been adolescent boys.
Mm-hmm.
So do you not want to make games where your boys feel like the hero because they're the ones playing the game? And perhaps gaming hasn't caught up with that yet, but it's something we could, maybe look forward to.
Yeah. I think Sarkisian's argument in the most recent video was that you don't need to have victimized women in your game to make people feel like the hero. Was the thing, like, as in, like, yeah, you're making people feel like a hero, but you're kind of doing it on the background of having lots of women, being having sort of quite graphic depictions of sort of sexual assault and violence towards women for no particular reason other than to kind of make your world a bit more gritty.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sort of that's almost come from movies. Right? You take a look at, like, the Saw franchise, and that's like shock value to sell a movie. So maybe the shock of something like that. Like, I mean, do you remember that game Manhunt?
Yeah.
That everybody seemed to want just because it was shocking.
Yeah.
It was an awful game.
An interactive snuff film, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, but people wanted it because it was shocking. So is that not sort of along the same lines, maybe?
Yeah.
I was about to basically
narrow-minded developers, really.
I was about to say the same thing that Jake was saying. Recently, I've picked up Killzone Shadowfall, and the sort of secondary character in that game you play is obviously one of these dude bro, hard as nails, male action guys, and the sort of other secondary main character in that is like your female counterpart, effectively, who is just as talented as you are, sort of from her side of the storyline, but that obviously. It doesn't make you feel less of a hero, you know what I mean? So what Jake was saying is obviously the women are sort of set-dressed and damsels to make the guy feel like the hero. Developers need to move more towards that, where the women can be equal to the hero, and you still feel like the hero. That's one way of appeasing, obviously, people who are going to be offended by these kind of things, and there's plenty of people out there who will be. So. Yeah.
And it's not just a matter of offence. I mean, yeah, that is kind of a major thing. Like, as in, if you're trying to make a game appeal to both genders, and all the women in your game are just victims of abuse throughout it, then how the hell are you going to want to play that as a woman, really? But it's also kind of what you're teaching, the next generation or kind of people about the world. Like, you're sort of saying that this is normal, like this is kind of the status quo. And the example she gives in the most recent video stretch across a quite appallingly large number of AAA titles in terms of like where this kind of particular trope is used, like kind of modern day stuff, like in the last 2 years, from Grand Theft Auto 5 to Watch Dogs to Red Dead Redemption, like lots of very kind of popular games, and so it's like this doesn't have to be the norm, and it probably shouldn't just be the norm, especially when kind of the rates of sexual assault on women is ridiculously high. I think she quotes that 1 in 5 women will be subject to sexual assault in their lifetime, and so perhaps we shouldn't be presenting a world where that sexual assault is just kind of common. And I think the other point is that she says it's in these games they're generally committed by people to develop a male character. So like there'll be some mustache twiddling villain who will hit some poor helpless woman, and then for as the player character that he is the evil person and must be punished. Whereas in reality, most sexual assaults are committed by members of people's families, colleagues, friends. So it's not kind of some mustache twiddling villain that you can see from miles away. It's someone you know.
That you don't see.
Yeah.
People that you don't see coming.
So you're presenting an unrealistic view of sexual assault in supposedly realistic worlds, and you're probably teaching a generation that that's to be expected, and that's probably not cool.
No, that isn't cool. But just before we get a little too heavy in this this podcast, I'm gonna move us on.
Well, I was just about to bring the hammer down then.
Completely off topic. Wasn't there a big article a few weeks ago, once even, about I can't think who it was. Someone complained of a new game that was coming out that didn't feature a female character. Is it Assassin's Creed?
Is this product placement what I'm seeing right now?
I can't think what it was.
Shameless product placement. Oh, hey guys, I don't know what this is, but what was it?
I can't think what game it was. I really can't. I'm
going to look drinking Coca-Cola. Other soft drinks are available.
Yes.
I'm going to look it up.
Who'd have thought we'd have needed a disclaimer for this?
It was Assassin's Creed, wasn't it? Where
yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, but that
was it Unity that didn't feature a female character that got slated?
Yeah, that was the one. A massive uproar about it.
Well, they presented a gaming clip, didn't they, with like 4 guys in it?
Yeah.
All slightly different guys. But what they were actually showing was the multiplayer portion of it, and in kind of typical Ubisoft style, they didn't explain the context. So it is actually a story. It is a story about a brown-haired white dude who saves revolutionary France. The classic.
Yeah.
And so they got slated for not including an option to play a female character, because it's like, well, you clearly included lots of male, brown-haired white guys. Why? They're not a lady.
Yeah.
I suppose the one positive to take from that is that they can take that criticism on board and develop that for the game before it actually comes out.
Weren't they just showing? They were just showing the multiplayer, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Like they were all the same white guy.
They weren't characters. It was just this is the multiplayer option in the game.
Yeah.
But as always with Ubisoft, something gets blown out of proportion, and
they fail to explain it adequately.
Yeah, what they do is they make a really half-arsed attempt at explaining the situation in the opening fortnight, and then about a month later they go, oh yeah, but actually, we meant this. Yeah, way to go, guys.
Actually,
it works, because we're talking about it. Anyway.
But yes, let's move on from the feminism stuff. If you haven't seen the videos, the Fem Frequency videos, check them out. There'll be a link underneath the video, so get yourself over and have a look at them. I also wanted to chat a little bit about, us guys, I think pretty much all of us are quite big fans of the Hearthstone game.
Hell yeah!
No.
Well, apart from you, Mansell.
What?
You just refuse to play it because you're a noob. Reels just got a job at Blizzard.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first response,
Ryan Masterson. He's sort of universally renowned as one of the best Hearthstoners. He just got a job at Blizzard, helping make the game.
Yeah, what a guy.
I like Hearthstoners as a collective noun.
It's good. I'm happy with that one.
Collective noun, just a regular noun. For the Hearthstoners. Yeah, I think it's great on the part of Blizzard actually to.
I think he just beat you to the punch, didn't he, Jake?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was a short list of 2, obviously.
You were second in line, weren't you?
Yeah. I couldn't. I got other commitments.
Jake didn't want to be a demand, did he? Clearly. You're too awesome for him. Too awesome.
But no, I think it's a really cool idea to actually take on a sort of member of the professional gaming scene to help develop the game, especially with something like Hearthstone, which seems to be pretty tailor-made for competition play, really. Like it.
Yeah, definitely. And the good thing about it is there's so many different ways to play it.
Yeah.
That as a developer of the game, you probably don't think of most of the ways that you can play it when you're making it.
Absolutely.
So to get somebody who spent the time researching and playing and being part of that game on board with you to help you make the rest of it is a great idea. And it's a sort of, I don't know, it's almost like an invite to other gamers to sort of climb ladders in games and become the best, if they want to follow in that sort of footstep.
Yeah, it's like the old Razer motto, designed for gamers by gamers, which I don't really know if it's like real or whatever. See you Warcraft.
He's done his product placement again.
Yeah.
You see the way
Which company was that, Mance?
Did the way he tipped his head forward as he said it as well?
Yeah. Which company do you want to send you some free stuff?
What?
Make sure that you hashtag these companies on the Twitter as well.
Just so you know, other computer peripherals are available.
Yeah.
Other brands are available.
Logitech do a great range of mice and keyboards.
Listen, with our current viewer ratio, we're not going to get any free gear, guys. So
No.
So pack it in.
Yeah.
Might send you a mouse mat.
Used.
Or a pen.
A pen. Yeah,
Buy someone else and stick it on.
Send him a company pen. Name dropped.
So talking about climbing ladders and getting achievements and being the best.
I want to be the very best.
Cue the Pokemon intro from Ben.
Well, you know, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best rendition we've ever heard. Come on.
Yeah,
But
you
guys,
guys
come
had a bit
on,
to say on this,
please.
didn't you? Ben
Say
and
again?
Max. You guys had a bit to say on this, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, basically the other day we were just discussing sort of how achievements and trophies and the like have sort of taken off in a fairly big way recently, and that there's all these sort of stat tracking sites that are out there. Some games have their own specific sites even, and we were just sort of riffing on the idea of how important that actually is in the age of gaming that we're living in now. I for one love hunting them trophies down.
Yeah.
I've got a relatively modest collection of 15 platinums at the minute, which is pretty low in the grand scheme, but it's more than a lot of people that I know.
I have one. One platinum
Well
trophy.
done.
I don't know how many I
Oh,
have.
my platinum trophy. I literally jumped in the air and fist pumped when it got it.
But I do know that I have a lot of Hearthstone card backs and things like that. Like
it's the bragging rights, isn't it? It's the proof that you did it.
Yeah, totally.
Say you get, I don't know, take Warcraft for example, with all the achievements, and you kill a boss, you get achievements. So you will then kill the boss again. You have then like more dibs to say of going in a group because you've got something to prove it. You've got a date on it. You've got when you did it. But say like you're new to a game, you can straight say, yeah, I want to go into your group. No, where's your achievement? Well,
that's a completely different matter, isn't it? That's a bugbear with the MMO scene, isn't it?
That's like where would that go if achievements weren't in, for example? Like PlayStation, I don't know, you want to go into a pro team, for example, but you haven't got trophies. They weren't in the game. How do you? There'd be no way to track how people go by achievements and trophies and how good you are for some dodgy reason. Like you'd rather look at that than look at your play. But if that wasn't all in the game, where would it be? Where would the gaming industry be without achievements?
Well, it's
I don't know if that's as relative with the console games, because the trophies and achievements are like a meta game to encourage you to maybe explore areas of the game that you haven't before, or literally, as Chris says, bragging rights. Whereas your WoW example was more specific. Maybe if you have defeated Deathwing 10 times, then that might have more relevance with you joining a raiding party to help some lower level players defeat Deathwing again. This is an example.
Yeah.
It's more functional in them regards rather than just a meta game where you show off to your friends.
It's still a relatively new thing that sort of information is kind of public, as in like that every sort of gamer on the WoW server can kind of see what you have and haven't done, which is kind of crazy. Like, because previously it was just, you know, sort of playground banter. It's like, you know, I beat that boss, I didn't. And now, you know, you can go and look up someone's gamer score if you're that interested.
It's like you can't go into the playground anymore and say, yeah, I beat Sonic in like 90 minutes. Not that I would go into the playground now and say that.
No, don't do that.
It would be slightly awkward unless you were actually taking your children to the playground and bringing them to the parents.
Redman in 10 seconds, yeah.
Why are you here? And for starters, they wouldn't even know who Sonic is. Like,
yeah.
The guy hadn't had a game.
You left school 18 years ago. Don't come back with your video gaming
What's this
talk.
blue rat that's running awfully quick? It's not a blue rat, you idiot! Why is there a red one with knuckles?
Yeah.
What?
But like, Hearthstone, for example, is the first game that I've played that's had a ranking system where I could directly compare myself to everybody else playing Hearthstone right now, which has changed the way that I've approached the game. You know, like it's no longer.
You want to be better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's no longer can I complete the game. It's can I beat everybody else in Europe at the game, which is a significantly loftier goal and kind of one that seems a bit sort of unachievable. But
if you want to check out Jake beating everybody in Europe at Hearthstone, then check out the videos that are going up as we speak. Of Jake beating people in Europe.
beating people in Europe.
I'll even throw a link into the comment section below.
Kind of you. But no, it was odd, like because there is with Twitch and with kind of professional streamers and people playing the highest ranks, like it's more accessible now than it ever was before. I guess there was. Professional gaming used to be something that was kind of a bit disconnected from everybody else's hobby, really. You know, like I mean, there always were kind of leaderboards and things like that, I guess, online for sort of things like StarCraft and whatever. But now it's kind of very much in the mainstream. It's very much just like right there. I can directly compare myself against my friends. I know what my Hearthstone rank is. I know what other people's Hearthstone ranks are on my friends list.
With you mentioned the StarCraft leaderboards. Unfortunately, there's no humans that play StarCraft as well as those leaderboards.
They're all robots that are just crazy.
They must be robots that they make to play that game, because it's just insane what some people can do on that game.
Yeah.
I had a friend who said you must have at least 200 key pushes a minute to play at a competitive level.
Yeah.
Can you even type 200 clicks in like a minute? I don't even think I could. If I was trying to.
There was a movie that got released on Steam relatively recently that's about professional gamers. I can't remember the name of it, but if I can find it, I will send it to you, Chris. So you can link it.
Yes, I can picture the title screen to it.
Yeah, but in the trailer for it, there's this wonderful shot where it's got like the guy's mum playing piano, and the kind of really intricate finger movements, and then it just kind of cuts to him playing StarCraft and just the sort of massively intricate finger movements while he's doing it as well. It's basically the same, like in terms of the sort of level of skill required to play those sorts of games at the highest level. But now with something like Hearthstone, you know, I can fire it up, I can play people, I can kind of gain loose ranks, and then I can kind of jump on YouTube or Twitch and watch people play at the highest level and kind of see that perhaps there isn't that much difference, and it makes you want to get better.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you realise the step between. You know, there's not that many steps between where you are and where they are.
Exactly. Yeah. What do I need to do to get to where they are? And it's no longer this unattainable thing that only like a tiny few people do. I mean, it still is this ridiculously unattainable thing that only a tiny proportion of people do. But now it seems closer somehow, which is weird. And I think kind of more public leaderboards and things like that have probably done that, or kind of games built around ranking systems like Hearthstone is.
Another thing me and Ben spoke about was them bringing out achievements where it required you to be in like the top 0.5% of your particular group server ranking or leaderboard. That you've kind of like some games have just cut out of the games. I think it was Killzone, wasn't it, Ben, that you tried to? Like,
in Killzone 2 there was a trophy for gaining a specific online achievement within the game, which was within any given week, which would have been a Monday to Sunday, get within the top 1% of all players playing the game online. And at that time, the peak when it came out, there was literally millions of players playing it. Because I was chasing the platinum for a while, and that was probably the most difficult trophy to get. And it required me to play a lot of hours online that week. I mean, luckily I was awesome. So.
I was going to say, surely you just fire it up now when there's about like 20 people playing this game.
In that given week, I think I was somewhere around 500 on. I don't know if it was like the European rankings, but I mean that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But that was then, and that was just for 1 week. So.
But it's sort of interesting. We've just spent a lot of time looking at it from the gamer's point of view, but what about from the developer's point of view? You know, how much does it increase the lifespan of a game, giving it a big list of achievements to get through like that, or giving it, you know, a target to be in a certain percentage? How much of a lifespan does that give your titles?
Some developers could even bring out, like, I know they've done it with Diablo, like the whole, as soon as it come out, people, before the even game come out, is there like leaderboards on it, and Blizzard said no. And people's like, oh, we're not going to play it. Yeah, millions of people still bought it, and literally 3 days ago they finally brought out the leaderboards, which has brought back a hell of a lot of players, and brought back new players just because it's leaderboards. I mean, was that a ploy from Blizzard to say, oh, we're going to bring you out no leaderboards, but you're still going to buy the game anyway, we're going to make a cream and then bring it out X amount of months down the line?
They've timed that though with the launch of the next gen console release of Diablo 3 as well. I think there's no coincidence about that at all. It's obviously planned.
You would think that Blizzard know the value of a ranking system.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a bit of a uproar because Diablo 1 and 2 both had leaderboards from day one launch, and Diablo 3 didn't.
Yeah, but again, look at it from a business point of view. You release a new title, you're going to get that initial wave of people that want to play the new title.
Oh yeah, they've made a mint off either way, haven't they?
And then you bring your leaderboards out, then people are going to go back and play it again.
Sneaky.
To get stuff on leaderboards, it's marketing. It's
beautiful.
I don't think it's a bad idea though. Like I enjoy chasing trophies. I mean, my philosophy isn't just to play a game for trophies. Some games I'll play and experience once, and whatever you get is a benefit. But if there is a series that I'm particularly attached to, then I will make the effort and try and get every last drop out of that game. If that means going online for hours and doing trophies, then that's what I'll do. I don't know if it's just me that does that. It's probably a few people who are the same.
I think it's the same. Like, I mean, like with the Hearthstone this month, when the Naxxramas expansion came out, like I've been trying to play Hearthstone as a complete free-to-play game. Like I didn't want to drop any money on it at all. And I realised that the kind of deck that I like to play, I would need to pay quite a lot of money to unlock the cards. Oh, I would need to kind of play a lot of the game for a very long time to unlock the cards that I wanted. And because I wanted a better ranking this month, I paid some money to unlock a few wings of Naxxramas to kind of get more out of the game. So, so Blizzard kind of probably played that quite well from my perspective. Like a game that I originally wanted to only play for free, I ended up spending money on.
Yeah, I mean, from looking at Hearthstone, I mean, they've got a much wider array of people playing it because it's free to play.
Yeah.
And then how many of those people have turned around and said, oh, well, it's free, so I might as well just spend $1.99 on 2 card packs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got the game for free, so why not spend, £12 on Nax?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a little thing like, and the motivator for it was that I was kind of playing ranked, and I was kind of sort of hovering at one level and getting beaten quite consistently by players that had the new cards. And I was like, I want the new virtual cards. Yeah. And I never thought I'd want anything virtual ever, but I wanted those cards.
And if you want to see Jake using these new cards, check out the link in the comment section below.
And don't spend money on it. You can unlock it through patience, hard work. Don't take shortcuts.
I think that there are a couple of negative things that have perhaps come from achievements and trophies and them kind of meta games. It kind of relates to DLC as well. As like, I remember back in the days, PS1, the Spider-Man games that came out on PS1. I played those games through over and over to unlock the different costumes that you got. I didn't need a trophy or an achievement to motivate me to do that. Because there was actual tangible unlocks within the game. Whereas now, those tangible unlocks that would have once been in the game that motivated you to do things you wouldn't normally have done have become paid for DLC, and the trophies and the achievements have kind of replaced those things. I mean, not in every single game is that a fact, but it's pretty much one of the more established things nowadays. Your EP-ness grows by 0.01 millimeters every time you get a trophy, but you haven't got anything to show for that in the game.
Except perhaps a bigger EP-ness.
Your EP-ness. I like that.
It's true though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So what? I'm within like the 0.5% on the Killzone 2 trophies, and you guys aren't.
I wanted to see if I could get there. I guess with my example, and I suppose there was kind of probably that from the Killzone one as well. It wasn't. It's just you wanted to see if you could. You want to see how good you could be, and now you have a very objective metric to test that against. Whereas
yes, here's my EP-ness.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah. You know exactly how long your EP-ness is relative to everybody else in Europe's EP-ness.
For me, it completely depends on the sort of game. Like I play World of Warcraft, and I love the achievements on that. I go searching for the achievements and unlocking them. I've got quite a hefty score on them.
Yes, that's at the moment. Lore Master.
But
Lore Master New York.
Old school Lord Master. Lore Master, not Lord Master. That's fucking lame.
But you look at a game like I played The Last of Us. I played it through once. I thoroughly enjoyed the story, and I just left it at that.
Yeah.
Because that was it. I got enough from that game that I wanted. So I think it completely depends on the type of game for me.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think as well it's like, yeah, I personally have to have some kind of attachment to that series. So with Killzone, for instance, I absolutely loved Killzone from Killzone 1 on the PS2, right through to now even Shadowfall. I've only really just picked it up, but it's bringing back some of those old feelings. It's not as good as Killzone 2, which was the absolute peak of the series, but point still stand. That motivates me to want to get the most out of that game. I wouldn't just play it through the storyline and put it down because it's got a really good multiplayer and there's trophies for that and blah blah blah. But
because the story is about space Nazis
pretty
trying
much
to take over the Earth. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's all good.
Space Nazis, fantastic. And I think on Space Nazis, I think that's where we'll call it for this week.
Really?
I
was hoping we were going to get into something else, like universal dirty Russian pigs.
No, not this week, Ben. Not this week.
Ah, damn.
I just want to say
next week, though. Next week.
Thanks to GameEclipse.tv for hosting the podcast week in, week out. Get over there and check their site out. It's a really cool site. It's got some really cool clips on.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, any free merch, Yep.
There is so much placement in this. Oh, and just so you know, guys, we are using Google Hangouts to do these podcasts.
Please, for any free gifts.
A Windows-operated laptop device by Toshiba. Yeah.
If Google want to send us a self-driving car, that'd be great.
Yeah, only 4.
Yes. Or that new helicopter thing that Delivers they just made.
Oh yeah,
I'd like mine.
Yeah, a drone would be nice.
With a V8 engine, if that would be possible.
Plex. XO.
Yes. Also, YouTube. Check us out on there. /BottleRocket UK. Twitter /BottleRocket. And Facebook also /BottleRocket. Likes, much appreciated. Subscribes, even more appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Chris.
I've been Jake.
I've been Ben.
I've been month.
Catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Remember to capture.
Capture smile.
Oh, what the fuck? What is this shit all about?
It's a good
No,
picture.
no.
You're taking pictures.
Why are you taking pictures of me?
Awesome.
I don't want to
Photos
know.
of
No
those
photos.
everyone. No photos yet. Let's take a picture. Oh!
Yeah. I'm taking photos.
If you've noticed, I'm pulling the same expression in all the pictures.
How the fuck do you turn this shit off?
The camera. There's a button at the top.
I've turned capture off. We
He's
were
like-
talking about trophies and stuff, so...
I like it. What are you laughing at, man?
Ben's face. It's just like it pops up proper randomly, like. All serious faced.
Like all the time. Every time I talk.
Do you think you could change the profile picture depending on your mood, Ben? As you go through the
I've just tried changing it.
Actually, I'm just gonna get a glass of wine.
Oh, I'm just gonna get a glass of wine. To help wash the podcast down. Oh fuck.
What a queer.